What's going on, guys? So apparently Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have been separated since 2016.
Yeah.
Crazy update. Apparently she has a book coming out. I think the book is called 𝘾𝙀𝙈𝙈𝙀𝙀, and we're going to react to a clip of her kind of discussing this in an interview with I think it's like a morning show today. We're gonna get into it. Before we do me a quick favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. So
there are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
Right.
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart. So I guess my question is, I feel like you're a straight talker.
I am.
Except you're not sometimes.
Yeah.
So why do that? Like, what was the reason?
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership, right? And in regards to how do we present that to people, you know? And we hadn't figured that out.
During our walk in Baltimore, Jada reflected on their breakup. Why did the relationship fracture?
Oh, why a fracture? That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be.
Jada says she considered a legal divorce, but could never go through with it.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
okay, I think we can stop it right there. Man, I don't know if you saw that full clip.
So many thoughts.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead? I've seen this already, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
First of all, I appreciate her saying, you always been a straight talker. She said, but also you're not. Because I'm like, no, we're not going to give her that label. She doesn't deserve it. And I'm glad she owned up to it, but I'm not with that. Like, no, she owned up to it and then gave an excuse as to why. So no, you're not a straight talker. You've been lying to the public this whole time. But let's get to the next part. I think it's so important for everyone, you know, even us on our channel, if you've been following us for a while, we'll say our piece and we'll say, but we know it's some pieces that are missing to the story.
Definitely.
And you have to keep in mind that with these celebrities and things, a lot of times, like, yes, stuff get out. We know that. But they are telling us what they want to tell us.
Yeah,
they are making us believe what they want us to believe. You know, we have plenty of examples for that with Keke Palmer, everybody. And it's just like, but they know that we get caught up with it. They could be getting paid to upkeep something. You never know, for business, whatever it may be. Okay, so those are the first two top things. I'm just like, we feel so close to them because of over the years, the celebrities and stuff. We think we know everything. No, apparently we don't know everything. Like,
no, for real.
2016. Okay, and then the other thing I will say is, like, it seems like this whole time, right? She's outing things. Shocking things. But she's doing it in a way where she's like, Will and I have spoken already about this. He's aware I'm doing it. We're still in a good relationship. You know, as if he shouldn't be shocked that he could be getting dogged or totally embarrassed on, you know, on the social media, things like that. It's like they've already had understandings and stuff. So I don't know, all this red table talk, all that, like, we have to think about this over the years. I'm even wondering, when did that happen on the red carpet when he went like this to her? But were they separated? Okay. And then let's talk about this divorce part. And I'm going to give it to you because, okay, legally divorced with papers, yes. And they are separated. That's called, right? It's separated. Okay, they didn't actually get a divorce in writing, which means, like, if they ever want to fix it, whatever, they can. But in the clip, she was saying, like, she said they would never have a reason to. They never wanted to do that, blah, blah, blah. They've been living two separate lives and lying about it, right? It's not just we withheld information. They said, how do you keep it spicy? Ooh, man, I don't even know where to start out. Yeah, because it's not spicy right now. At least not with your husband. So, you know, that's my piece. It was so many things.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
there's a part of me, and it's a small part of me, that feels really bad for Will Smith.
Okay.
But then there's a part of me also that's like, man, like, this is who you chose to be with. Like, this is who you picked. I mean, this is the lady that you picked to be with at the end of the day. And so I can't feel too bad for you because that's a decision. At the end of the day, you live with your decisions, good or bad. You're going to live with your decisions. But what I will say, I'm going to focus my attention on Jada because...
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand that feel bad. Mm-hmm. And of course, automatically, I want to as well. But again, I really don't know what's happening behind closed doors.
Right.
So I don't even know if I should be feeling bad for the man.
Right. Well, let me say what
I don't know.
What I feel bad about is the way that she's handled communicating all of these different things. She doesn't owe it to any of us to share their business. Like, if you've went from 2016 to 2023, you went all of this time without communicating that y'all are, functionally divorced, even though as far as like the legal side of it, it's just a separation. We're just not together in relation, but on paper, we're still married and we're going to keep it that way. Well, it would have made more sense to me if you were deciding, if with this book launch and all that, you were deciding, hey, that we're going to decide to actually go through with that divorce. But up to this point, we have been separated and we kept up this image for all of this time because we are friends still. But as far as the relationship, it wasn't working anymore on that level. So it's just very confusing. It feels very forced in an effort to sell books, which I don't know the type of person that buys this book, but I know that person exists out there that's going to want to read the entire book now.
Oh, she gonna make some money off this book.
This is information that people weren't available. They didn't know. Nobody would have, no matter how you felt about Jada and Will's relationship, whether it's them in an open relationship we would hear, or whether it's the Scientology, all of these different things, regardless of how you feel about it. Yeah. One thing we thought was that they definitely were together. Like, oh man, like inseparable. And then you had and then it makes the whole slap situation with Chris Rock even more confusing because even in that context, he referred to her as his wife. And she talks about it too. There's a clip of that. We're not going to react to that. But she talks about being surprised that he said that. It's like, I hadn't heard that in a long time. And how like it almost kind of came off like, what are you doing in the whole situation when he thought he was defending her honor as his, I guess, quote unquote wife. Even though we would still consider her his wife.
He is.
But it's just in a certain sense with them being the fact that she was so shocked that he called her that and the way he reacted in the situation, that just kind of shows you that her view of him, while they may be friends, they may have some type of connection that's between them two, like whatever the connection is, that's between them at the end of the day. It's not for us. We don't have to understand it, but just on the outside looking in, the way that she kind of speaks about him and their relationship and how she constantly is bringing up Tupac and stuff in her relationship and how much warmer that relationship seems than when she ever talks about Will. It just is, it's emasculating. Like, I just feel so bad. It makes him, I just feel like as a man, the way that he has had to carry himself knowing that he has a wife that is constantly from time and time again overshared, gave way too much of her business and their business out there. It's just unfortunate. And he even, I think, put out a statement about this. And a lot of people were expecting maybe that he would finally, put his foot down and say something. But no, he was kind of like, oh man, I learned so much from your book. And like, it was kind of almost supportive.
This many years with you.
It was like, it was almost like supportive. It's like, man, I've learned so much about you. And it's almost like it's bringing them closer. And then there's an interview where she's talking about like, they're going to be together. So in her mind, and I don't know if this is Will's mind too, but in her mind, they're going to be together forever, no matter how complicated things look and no matter what the function is now. So just very strange.
Here's the thing. I can't speak for everyone, but people, in our age gap, things like that, I believe they're very invested in Will Smith. Like, people generally love him.
Definitely.
All the way from Fresh Prince, funny, hilarious guy, things like that. People were so shocked about what happened with the slap, okay? And then I would say, so with the slap, it makes a lot of sense how a lot of people perceived it. Again, because now they're all actors. Let's keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been acting this whole time. They could still be acting. Who knows? People perceived that he laughed, thought it was funny. Whole time they live in separate lives, so it was a joke. It was funny, right? And then we think that he looked over, saw her face. Right. She wasn't happy. wait, we together, right? And so you don't talk about my woman like that. And then he goes and smack the dude, blah, blah, blah. Because it's like, you're supposed to, protect me as, the protector of our household.
Exactly.
Which is really 2 households right now. Whatever. Yes, they're married. But to her point of saying that I didn't ever see us being in a place where we wouldn't be able to work it out and figure it out. But then in the interview, she also said, oh, it's so many reasons why. I think we just both got tired in 2016. Yeah. So, no, they're not divorced. They are still very much so married. Mm-hmm. But are they working it out and trying right now to the looks of it? No, they just decided separate is best.
Yeah, I mean, we hold firm to the belief that, God's ways are better than our ways. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, and we want to bring this full circle because, yes, we could critique everybody. I mean, I haven't seen a single person that is like defending Jada or is like caping for her on this or anything close to that. But I think at the end of the day, the solution for most people is you don't put yourself in a situation like that. Like, don't find yourself in a relationship that you don't feel dignified by the person you're with. You don't feel the same the level of affection, the warmness, respect. Don't put yourself in a situation where someone can operate like Jada and put all your business out there, stuff that has no business being out there. Because Will Smith, many would argue is like one of the top, actors, on the planet. And it's like, he had a certain image that he's kept, and it's been a really polished image. I mean, when he was a rapper, he was known as the clean rapper and stuff like that. He was known as like this family-friendly character and all that. Yeah. And so I just feel like Jada has lowered his image over the years. It's been slow. It's been a slow process, but I feel like more and more he's lost a lot of the credibility and respect that he's garnished from years of hard work, dedication, and excellence in the performing arts. So it's just unfortunate to see it kind of all fall apart. But we understand, like, hey, that's why it's important for you to be equally yoked with whoever you choose to be with in a relationship, whoever you choose to be married to. When you are with somebody who does not share in the core things that you are about, they're not Christians, so we're not necessarily prescribing the Bible to them. But what we're saying is, this is truth. Truth is truth, even if you don't co-sign it. We can't hold it to you, but we can say that knowing that what the truth is, like, this is how it pans out. This is how it plays out more times than not, which is if you're with somebody that's not on the same page and you're unified with that person, you're going to run into these hardships. And it's no surprise that they've been separate. Yeah. It's no surprise at all to me when you see her behavior, you see how flippant she's been and, out of order. There's no order in their household. There's no order in her place as his wife. There's not the respect. I think she thinks she's being respectful, but I think she's not going to put respecting her husband's reputation. She's not going to maintain that at the sacrifice of her being her authentic self. And some people are who they are. And what I'm saying is, you got to be careful who you choose to be with, because that person can be like a ball and chain to you, attached to your leg, and you're just constantly carrying the weight that they bring to you in your life. And so those are some things that I would share. Don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship that isn't really going to progress into something healthy. You got to see those red flags and you got to run away. That's my thing. So.
Yeah. And again, I'm thinking about accountability. I'm thinking about all these things, family, friends, things like that, because don't quote me, but I believe Will Smith is a PK.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
he is.
I think so.
So that means, I don't know what denomination, all of that, whatever, but I believe he was raised in a Christian household. So, and then, like you said, we know for them, like the period where they were doing Scientology, things like that, with the cruises and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just getting back to that, having a foundation.
Absolutely.
The person you with, like you said, being equally yoked. Is this the foundation we're going to stand on, so we know when things get hard? Because things get hard,
absolutely.
Okay?
They absolutely do.
Things get hard. But, having that foundation, being on one accord, knowing, I still want to make sure my significant other, my husband, my wife, is in the best light for them in front of everybody. And so it's just a lot with this situation.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's a lot of lessons we can learn from. Because there are still people.
This is a cautionary tale at the end of the day. It's a cautionary tale that we all need to take heed to, even those that are married. I mean, take heed to these things, learn from the mistakes of others. That's what the wise man, the wise woman does. They learn from the mistakes of other people and the missteps. Those are our thoughts on this. We would love to know what you all think. So leave a comment below. And before you head out, make sure you do us a favor and like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed.
Click it.
And hit that notification bell.